Okay, so for our number guessing game, okay, we want to have a certain range. Okay, and let me be writing this down. We'll have a range of numbers. Okay, and this is the actual range that we are going to be using. So let's say we have a range that's from 1 to 100. So we have two users play against each other. Okay, let's say player 1 and player 2, and then one is going to choose a number, the other is going to try to guess the number, hence a number guessing game. So let me just give us a quick example. Okay, so say I pick 50. Okay, when I pick 50, now the person who guesses, after they guess, let's say they guess 80, my responsibility is to tell them that, oh, the number I picked is lower. Okay, if they picked 40, I now have to tell them that the number I picked is higher, and you get the whole idea. And that just helps them to be able to narrow down and then be able to get to the number. Okay, so for this, what we want to really be doing is we will kind of be playing against the computer. Okay, and what do I mean by the computer? So we want to be just selecting the numbers at random. I mean, to make the thing a bit fun. It's just us over here. We don't have any people close to us or anything. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to pick a random now. To do this, we are going to be using the random import. Okay, so we say import random. So this is just going to help us be able to do things as random. Okay, like literally. Good. So let's create a variable and let's say number to guess, like this. Okay, and now let's tell it what to do. So we want to guess between 1 and 100, like I just said. Okay, good. Now this does not do anything really. We want to be able to perform random operations on this. So we just come here and then we say random, let's say dot, and again we go rand int for random integers. Okay, and just for practice, let me try to print our number to guess, like this. Let's try to print our number to guess. Okay, so I'm going to run this and then we are going to see our number to guess. And what I really want to show is every time it's going to change whatever it has picked. So that's the whole essence of the game. You can see the numbers keep changing over here from 33 to 24. It just keeps changing. Okay, yes, that's the point. And then we will now have to later guess this number. Okay, so let's get back to it. Now I want you to play against this random behavior. Okay, so we want some form of user to be able to play against this random. And for this, I'm just going to straight away, let's call it guess. Okay, since we call this number to guess, let's not call this user, let's call this guess, to maintain some form of consistency. Okay, be keeping note of these things. Okay, you want to be consistent in your variable. So we say guess is equal to, now want input from our user, and then we now need to tell them what to do. Okay, so we say enter your number guess, and this is something you want to be doing. Don't just say guess, specify number guess. Sometimes users can be weird. Okay, so specify number guess. Okay, now as I'm looking at this, we can see that we are working with integers. So what I want to do is I want to cast the input the user is going to be giving me as an integer, so that we'll be able to perform mathematical operations on the number they give us, include us. And these mathematical operations include greater than, less than. You see all the comparisons we want to do. You cannot compare strings in that sense. You see, let's avoid any errors right off the bat. Yes. And now we have this tool. What we really want to do is we want to write out the comparison logic. Okay, we want to just come out and then compare this, and then we'll give our conditions. Yeah, so the comparison logic, again, let's brush through it. If it's equal, okay, if you get the actual number, then you get it correct. Okay, and if it's lower, then it has to tell you that you are lower, and if you're higher, it has to tell you that you are higher. That's basically it. Okay, So let's just write this out. So let me see. You say if guess. Let's handle the correctness first. Okay. If guess is equal to, and remember to compare in Python, we use the double equals. It's a number to guess. The ID should be given me this very fast. If guess is equal to number of guess, okay, then I want to print like this. Then I want to print correct. Okay, that means they got it right. Otherwise, that's our elif. Okay, if guess, and you can pause the video and try to think about the logic yourself to see if you'll be able to get it. Okay, so number to guess. So otherwise, if the guess is less than the number we have picked, I'm getting a bit confused. Okay, so if it's less, we want them to go higher, right? So let's print something like, should I say go higher, or let's just make it simple. Let's say too low. Okay, good. And then we say else, because this is the last one. Say else, we print too high, so they have to go lower. Okay, good. And then this is basically it. Okay, now I want us to test out our application, so I'm going to go back to print the guess so that we can just debug our logic. Okay, let's print number to guess. Okay, so when we print this number to guess over here, we get to see the random guess. It's supposed to be random, but we get to see it, and then we use it to run our tests. Good. So I've run this and we can see something very interesting. What I want to do is I want to test our first condition, the correct one, and we can see that the number is 20. So we just want to match it. So it's 20. And then you can see that we have our correct. Okay. Now I'm going to run again. We see it's 11. Let's try to predict 2. And it tells us that we are too low, so we have to go too high. Good. Else, let's try again, and let's try to go too high. We literally go 99. And it's telling us that we are too high, so we have to come low. Okay, good. So this means that our base logic works. Okay, so now you realize that we have to be running this program over and then over again in order to make any headway. Okay, and then we can try to fix that. I mean, you can decide to leave it here, but let's just try to fix this. Okay, and then it's going to help in a lot of the future projects that we are going to be doing on this particular channel. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to add a loop. Okay, we want to add a loop. Now, so in Pygame we call this a game loop, but let's just keep this simple. Okay, so to implement any form of game loop, okay, my little experience with game stuff, okay, we want to look at the events that we want to be looping, we want to be repeating. And if we go through our script right here, we can see that the particular blocks that we want to be looping over are from 10 to 18. Okay, we want to be getting the user's inputs, and then they need to try and try again. But you need to still be running all of these checks. Okay, so I'm going to say something like this. I say while true, good, and then we remember our Python, we need to give indentation. I don't know why the IDE did not even flag me. We need to give indentation in order for this to work. Okay, good. So this is a good time to look at all the issues that we have discussed before. Okay, now when we try to loop this and we say while true, okay, this is always going to be true. Let's look at what's going to happen. But what we have done over here in an attempt to loop, okay, you realize that because we are printing, we know the correct answer, right? But anytime we come here and then we are even getting the correct, there is no exit procedures. Okay, let me try to even go higher and lower. So we realize that we are just stuck in this loop, and then it's going to keep asking us and asking us. So this is an example of how an infinite loop may occur. So I can think of two things. We can try to break or pass or something and try to exit this loop. But instead, since this is a game and wanting to be trying, let's add an attempt left variable. Okay, then we add this to the logic, and then we say while attempts left is greater than a certain number or less than a certain number. I've not quite figured it out yet. As I go on, I'll be able to see it. But let's just do that, and then we use that as the condition instead of just while true. Okay, so let's just implement that. So over here, where we defined a lot of our variables, okay, now you should be grouping your code like this. So I want to say attempts. Am I spelling this right? Who cares? Left is equal to, let me see, let's give them 8 attempts. Okay, that should be enough to make the game at least competitive. Okay, so we have attempts left is equal to 8. Okay, now instead of just while true, what we want to do is we want to say while, then we pick our attempts left variable and say while is greater than 0. So that's literally while we still have tries left. I think, yeah, while we still have tries left. Okay, if we are not greater than 0, it means we are out of tries. Okay, then we are going to go through all of this. Okay, and then we come down here. Okay, but you realize that we are still going to be in the infinite loop. Okay, because it's either we are going to say, so when we had while true, we would have to set it to false somewhere inside of the logic, or try to break out of it some way somehow. With this, while attempt is greater than or equal to 0, we are not doing anything to the attempts left variable. We have just left it idle. So this is never going to register. Okay, so after we go through all our comparison logic, we want to do our replay logic or whatever. So this is going to be a simple decrement. Okay, instead of plus plus, we do minus minus. That wouldn't even probably work. This is not C plus plus, but yeah. So we want to take our attempts left, okay, and then we say minus equals, let's say 1. Okay, all in our while loop. Mind you, I said whatever we want to loop, we want to be doing it over and then over and then over again. Okay, now after this, it's just kind of nice to also give our user a message, and then let's use an F string. Okay, so after this, it's just nice to give our user a message. Okay, after all this, so that they can also know what's going on. So what we want to do is we want to say we want to tell them the number of tries that they have left, and that's basically our attempts left. Okay, in whatever part of the iteration it will be. So when you go through the first one, they would have 7 attempts left, then 6, then 5, then 4. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to use an F string. Okay, then we say you have attempts left. Maybe this was not the best name. Attempts left. Oh my god. Let me run this and let's see what's going on. So let's try 72. Okay, and let's see. Let me go 23. And then you say, and then you see we now have 2 low, and you have 7 attempts left. Now let me go 90, and now we have gone too high, and you can see that our logic is working properly, it's decreasing and everything. Okay, and since what we just implemented is the attempt limit, let's try to just exhaust everything. Okay, let's do 22 till it's done, and then you say you have 0 attempts left. Then we get to exit our loop just like that. Okay, because now attempts left is not greater than 0. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's how to implement this. Okay, now if I know this has stressed than your average number guessing video you see, but before I log off, okay, I want to make mention of where we take our user inputs. Okay, as you code, wherever you take user inputs, try to see them as avenues for problems. Okay, and this is just an assignment to anyone who is watching this. I want you to rewrite this program and then also put error handling over here. Okay, because imagine, and let me just try this. Imagine the person does not input any number. Let's say I just hit enter, and we have all these nasty errors you want to think about. And in today's job market, it's simple things like this that can stand between you and your dream job or getting that job. You understand? These are all some simple edge cases. So you just try to think through them and then try to do them. Also try to put it in the comment section. I do my best to read all of my comments. Then yes. Yeah, okay, so that's just by the way. And then we are not done in itself. Okay, this is a bonus section. At this point, you have gotten to a pretty good point in the game, but there's still more we can do. Okay, now when the user loses, instead of just exiting, okay, we can also take a step further and then give them a losing message. Okay, so for that, it also still deals with our attempts left variable. Okay, so we say if attempts left is equal to 0. Okay, it has been decremented to the very end. Okay, then we want to print and give them a message. Game over. Okay, so we give them a message and we tell them that it's game over. Okay, and even with this, let's see. We want to give them an air string, and then when we tell them game over, let's try to also tell them the number. Okay, so the number was, and then we say number to guess. I think good. And then we say number to guess. So we just try to tell them, and let's test this out. Okay, so our goal during this test is to just fail, so the attempts are exhausted. And let's see, let me see 4. We say game over, and then it tells us what the number was. Okay, good. So these are guess, and try to think through this. Put your solutions in the comment section. I like to see what people come out with. So that's basically it. Okay, and we are at a very good point. But what we can also do to push this a step further is we can get this whole thing to replay, and that's as simple as also including another check. Okay, and you realize that what we did for the attempts left. Okay, we want to create some sort of variable. Okay, and with this one we need a choice from our users. Okay, so let's create a replay variable, and then we say, let me see, we want inputs. This time the input is a string, so we leave it like that. We don't do any integer whatever. So we ask them play a game. Let me see, yes. How do you write this? It's been a while since I coded games. So basically we ask the user, do you want to play a game? Yes or no? Okay, and we tell them type Y or N. Again, if you are following and you are consistent with what I've been saying, anytime you're asking for inputs, these are chances that can cause problems in our programs, can crash our programs. So you can maybe put again some try except here to handle these errors, or you just specifically tell them what you want. They should input Y or N. Okay, now I want to take replay and I want to make it dot lower. I want to keep it in lower case because again users can be weird. Now let's simply check the replay. So we say if replay is not equal to yes, right? That's not equal to Y, I guess. Let me check the string itself. Y, like this. Okay, then what do we want to do? We just want to break. Like I said, that's one way to exit a loop. Good. Now we are not quite done with this part just yet. Okay, we are not quite done because we need to start from here. Okay, because that's what we want to do. So this loop is for the comprising logic, the replay logic, and then losing message, blah blah blah. And then we want to start another loop from the higher point. Okay, that's where we define our variables and blah blah blah. So we say while true. Then we want to indent this whole thing by a step. I'm going to exclude the replay, guys. We want to indent it like this. Okay, to kind of fit through. Now let me group these together so you can see that they are one family. And then we have it like that. And at this point, I think I'll get rid of the print so we can actually play the game, right? Good. And let me see if everything is good. Yes. So this replay event, okay, is really working off the top here. And then what we have in here, replay logic, losing message, blah blah blah, is working off the attempts left. Okay, so let me try this. Okay, this should work. Good. So to test it out again, I want to test out the feature. Okay, the replay we just did. So let's just try to exhaust everything. And you can run all of your tests after we are done. So game over, the number was 95. That one to replay, then let me see why. And it says we go over again. It says enter your number, blah blah blah. And I think the play again message is not very. We can decorate it a bit, but basically we are done. Okay, yeah, we want to put some space over here. So now I've tested the replay. Let's actually try to play this. Let's see how smart I am. I'm going to go for 50. It says too low. Let's go to 60. It says too low. Let's go to 70. It says too low. Let's go to 8. In fact, let's just go to 90. It says too high. Let's go to 85. It says too high. Let's go to 83. It says too high. Let's go to 82. Come on. Let's go to 81. Oh, yes. So, guys, that's a number guessing game in Python. I hope this was fun. I hope this was thorough. And see you in our next project.